For our next conversation, please welcome Bethann Hardison, fashion activist and model, and interviewer Yara Shahidi, actress, producer, and host of the Optimist Project.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Hello. Wow, look at this nice room.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
How is everyone doing this very inspired day? What? I'd have to say, I've had the pleasure of seeing you in the most fabulous of spaces, but I'm absolutely floored that one of the spaces gets to be sitting across from you as an interviewer getting to dive deep into this.
Never happened before.
Well, I'm honored.
I am too.
I'm really honored.
I am too.
I mean,
Thank you all.
I'd wanted to start by just talking about the theme of why we've gathered, which is building what's next. And I really couldn't think of a more appropriate conversation to be having, because that's just where your mind lives, in what's next. From the moment you hopped onto the scene, I think you have always not only reveled in making the most of our creative outlets, but thinking through what does the future of fashion look like, what does the future of equity look like, and what is your part in it, which is a whole lot to say. But I just wanted to start by asking, did you land that way? Did you land on the planet that way, thinking about what's next?
No.
Or when did that question start to really bug you? When did you realize you were going to be what's next?
Oh, that's a very, very good to think. I always say to people that I never felt like I was ambitious, and people say, oh, that's not possible, to look what you've done. But the fact of it is, really, I never had any feeling that, oh, I have to think of what's next. But it seems like what's next finds me. So I'm not ambitious enough to be figuring, or feel lonely. I don't feel lonely to do things, or lonely to be with others, which is very nice. So no, I think that what has happened is, even in school, I started to write and to do this book, and I realized in writing that I've already felt that I must have been, like successful by the time I was 12 years old, because I'd done so many things already. So that's interesting to me, because I really have discovered that.
Well, okay, if what's next is finding you, I think it then requires some sense of openness to then follow the path that's being laid out in front of you. What made you think, okay, what's next is coming my way, and I shall follow that direction?
No, it never happens that way. What happens?
Okay, tell me.
It's a situation. A situation comes upon you that if you're the one that's called to do it, that makes you realize there's something I got to do about this. But it's never based on the fact of, what can I find that's next to do? Because once again, I'm lazy. I don't want to do anything. I just want to
the most incredibly productive lazy person I've ever met.
This winds up being the truth of that. But in truth, it really winds up being, because it takes, like going up against the international fashion industry was a very hard thing to do. It took time. I said, yes, okay, let me go, and I'll do it. Naomi kept calling me, you got to come back. I was staying in Mexico at the time. And, the girl of color had just disappeared. Any girl of color, of any color, had disappeared off the runways. And that became something that they felt I was the only one who could do something about it. And coming back and doing it took me 4 years to actually activate, like to pull the switch, And doing so, it's hard things that go up against people and tell them they're doing something wrong, but it's how you do it. If you do it with a certain amount of grace, so you're not accusing them of anything, but you're just trying to indicate to them the awkwardness of their action, that they, no matter what their intention is, the same thing, no matter what the intention is, the result is racism. So that becomes something that you have to do, because you're trying to help them, not the people of color. You're trying to help the industry to sort of like adjust their ways. And it worked.
Can we dive into this, Grace? Because I think it's a question that I have, quite honestly, of when you see something is happening in front of you that is an injustice, trying to find the midway point of not being so nice that they can't hear what you're saying, and trying to maintain your sense of self. Because I guess what I'm thinking about is that I've been in situations in which I want to communicate something, and it is quite literally angering to be able to sit there and be expected to either to have to explain again, to maybe have to think that what I'm asking for is in my own self-interest versus, like you're saying, for the greater good of the communities and people I'm surrounded by, it brings up a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
So how do you hold on to that
That's
grace?
the good news. The good news is I didn't have that emotion. The good news, I'm gangster. Definitely.
You know what?
Yeah, I'm definitely gangster. But I'm wise. And I really kept telling myself that it was born out of ignorance, not racism. If I had thought that I was dealing with someone who was pure racist, I would just leave them alone. I wouldn't try to change the mind of someone who's convicted. But I knew I was dealing with people who basically had just fallen in a rabbit hole. They were just following the yellow brick road. Everything became, that's what Mucha did. And designers, even though they're individual, they all sort of, we travel the road of trend. And that's what they did. They got caught up in it, and it went on and on and on. It went on for 10 years. And here I come. I did do that. Just to sort of like indicate to them that they were making a mistake. And once you say it, that you know no matter what the intention is, the results is racism, the first thing a fashion designer is going to say, whether it be in London, Paris, Milan, Italy, Milan, or New York, the first thing they're going to think, I'm not racist. And that's exactly right, they're not. But what you are, you're becoming very ignorant to the fact that that's what you're doing. The results is it. And that's what made it more easier. Because I just really believed that myself that unlike your situation where, you're of a generation where you could just see shit, pardon expression. And you have so little patience for ignorance. In my generation, at least me, Bethann, not maybe everyone, I can see it and still sort of like want to stroke people down. And it's the only way you're going to get over. Sometimes if you're aggressive, you're not. They can't hear you because you're accusing them. And I wasn't trying to do that.
Yeah, well, I love just the distinction you made too, though, of saying, okay, it's not that I'm trying to convince a racist, it's that I'm assessing the problem at hand. If I feel like I'm talking to someone who is convicted in this belief, I'm gonna push that to the side. But if I'm talking to someone who I can help shape their future potential, and it is from a place of a lack of education, all right, walk with me.
Yeah, and the point of it is you want to win. I like winning. I don't like losing. So if the fact is I think I'm going to lose what I'm attempting to do, then I'll just leave it alone. But when I think there's an opportunity, if I see this amount of people over here, I have a shot where there are that many. I don't, I'll work on this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thinking about then that moment of one just being incredibly gangster.
Yeah.
And the fact that I think it would be a net positive walk away if we all walked out a little more gangster today.
Yeah.
What's a part of just you building up yourself that allows you to go out into this world and maintain that attitude, maintain that focus, that discipline, that sense of direction?
A lot of this comes when people are born to do things. I came to Earth, I know. I think many people come to Earth just to do certain things. You can practice it, like when you see my film, Invisible Beauty, it's on Hulu, by the way. You got that? Yeah, you got to see the Invisible Beauty. But when it's the same thing, you know that sometimes there's things that you're meant to do. You come to Earth to do it. And I say to people, when you see this film and you see what this woman has done, please don't feel like I got to go out and I just got to do something too, because everyone's not called to do it. But what we do need is the supporters. We need people who really stand up and follow Yellow Brick Road. That's the most important thing. And the rest of it, I think, is that, we have to be conscious. Be conscious of what's going on around you. Don't go to sleep on us now. We need you really very badly. We need that. And that's the most important thing to me, because everyone can't be a leader. Can't be, many people we need to poke, as we used to say, pull the Trojan horse. Everyone can't be the one on top of it. Yeah. So I think that's an important thing to always realize. And I'm happy that I'm still at this age of my life, still having ideas, still wanting to do things. I love also, like I said, a hammock and a tequila. I love
a hammock.
Yeah, well, I'll do the tequila. But at the end of the day, I love that, relax. But at the end of the day, I know there's always so many more things to do.
Okay, so stepping back for a second to the more things to do, we are of the belief, and by we I mean, my family, myself, and my mother, Yara Shahidi, we're moved by this idea of creating the space for us to follow who we are supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. And we're also of the belief that optimism is a belief in the future. To be optimistic is to believe that there's a tomorrow worth fighting for.
Right.
And you've seemed to really herald what that tomorrow could look like.
Yes.
You've never given up on the idea of tomorrow, on what it could hold. And so I gotta ask, what does optimism mean for you right now?
Mexico?
That's real. That's real.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah. I think, I do think it's a time to sort of like put your life in order. I really do. I think it's time to clean out your closets, get rid of things, start getting very tight about things in your life, even when it comes down to recognizing others. Just know what you've got and what things you need to put back in your life, things to take out. We've gotten very heavy with a lot of nonsense. And in the world of the industry, deep. I never say hardly ever that I'm from the fashion industry. I know I am. I know it comes down to that. But words are very important to me. So here I am living it. While we're doing this, it started today. I went and helped to light the Empire State Building wasn't that great? For the beginning of Fashion Week, and then I'm on the board of CFDA, and I'll go to the opening cocktail party for the I look at this as a limited journey of true life. So for me, even though I know it's Fashion Week and all that, I'm still looking at the watch, still thinking about getting ready for what's getting ready to go down. I'm very conscious of things. I couldn't be a revolutionary if I was sitting pretty and thinking it's nice to be at a fashion show. And I'm not that person. And even though I represent fashion and I work with fashion brands and I'm a consultant to luxury brands, and I do love the life that I have lived along the way, but when it gets down to a point where it's not all like it used to be, I can't look at it the same way. So for me, fashion is something that's happening because it's part of the rhythm. But at the same time, I don't want to say bad news or make things seem like a downer. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like a pretty thing. It's just what has to happen. People have to go on. Lives have to go on. The industry has to go on until it can't go on anymore. And we stay with it. We ride that horse until we have to get off.
Yeah, using it as a path forward. And that makes sense because it's something I think I've struggled a lot with, which is I love all these beautiful opportunities. And I always think whoever has the macro Hollywood calendar knows when the world's about to burn. Because there is always a red carpet when the world is burning. Like one thing I can guarantee you. But it makes you really then contend with, okay, so then why are we on the red carpet?
Yeah.
And what are we going to bring into the room that we're walking into?
I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay. No, truly, because, just make out y'all are not here. For you, someone who really is at your age and for your intelligence, how do you feel about what's going on in your world right now that you feel that you have to sort of say, okay, you can be, cool about it and try and be really, really nice about, not saying the wrong thing, but how do you really feel about it? Because you're really pretty, you're junior gangster.
Thank you. I'm honored. I've been deputized. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that's right.
It's terrifying. I think I find hope in the fact that this is not the first, nor will it be the last time that terrifying things have happened.
Yeah. That's a good
The reason I have my 1963 tattoo is because it's a year in my mind where a lot of people gave their lives towards a future they weren't guaranteed. And I think that's what's going to be expected of us, is what are we willing to put on the line to bring about a future that we may not see, but that's not the point.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
No, but I follow in your footsteps. I remember the first time I saw you, and I think what I love is that you exist. To say, you exist largely is inappropriate because you're exactly the size you are supposed to be in our heads.
Yes.
But I remember seeing you as backstage at the Tommy Hilfiger Zendaya show, and it was the first time that we met. In Paris.
Yeah.
And
we sat next to each other.
we did.
Yes.
It was a real treat.
Good. Yeah. And you were so impressed.
I was impressed as I was geeked. I was totally geeked.
Yeah.
But it's because whether it be, like you're saying, Invisible Beauty or the work that you've continued to do, your mind is always thinking towards how do we leave these doors open? You are so familiar with what it is to be the first and the only in many of these spaces. But your thought process has always been, well, how do I crank this door open? How do I put a doorstop in there so that people can keep coming in after me? And I just want to know the tips. Like, how are you thinking about, I think a lot of spaces can be quite content inviting one of us in.
Yes.
I've been that one that they've been content inviting in.
Yeah.
How do you think about just your own role of like keeping that door cracked so it doesn't just end with
by my actions.
Us?
No, by my actions. No other way. I grew up in Bedford-Stuyvesant and I was bused into an all-white school, and it was really great because I was supposed to go to performing arts. I had gotten in, but I told my mother, no, I want to go to the school. This guy came and he's introduced us to the school, and I promise you, I succeeded so well in that high school. I was the first black cheerleader. I did so many things. I became the person that did sing. Everybody voted for me to do everything. And I just think it's about what you do and how you lead and what you do in life. Mm-hmm. Eventually, people follow because you've set this example and given the opportunity for others to see, this is okay.
Yeah.
I never think as you would because you're higher IQ than I never think, how am I going to do this to make sure that other people get through? That I never think. I always think if I do right, they will get through.
And that's the power of presence.
Yeah, and that's also wisdom. Mm-hmm. Everyone doesn't have wisdom. Everyone can be smart as a lick, but everybody's not wise. Yeah. No matter how old or young you are, that doesn't come with you. But to be sage is very interesting. I know that I have that. My father told me I would be that person. And I have many people who look at me as like, oh my God, the Oracle. In that same sort of crazy way. Bebby Smith named me that 20 years ago. And little by little, people see that in you. There's something there that you're unique. Everyone isn't unique, but everyone is in their own self. And that's what you have to find. And not worry about so much the others. As long as you do right, you put the right step in front, it's going to influence a lot of things. It's like going to the movie theater. Can I get everybody to go back to the movie theater? Please. The movie theater, because it helps energy, collective energy. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm.
It's hearing you talk about just moving in your purpose is, I think, what's most astounding in a time in which we're focused on results. And even in my questions, okay, how do I guarantee that this is going to happen? How do I guarantee that that's going to happen? What you continue to return to is it's not about guaranteeing any of it's going to happen. It's about being so tapped in with self.
That's a good thing. That's the good thing about being young, though. Mm-hmm. Young and intelligent, because you can be young and dumb. But you're young and intelligent. You're worried about, well, how do we fix this? What can we do? Is it a plan? Will someone leave something behind? A message in a bottle? Not necessarily. But what you said before about 1963, brilliant. Mm-hmm. The idea that others did so much to make this possible. When I was a kid growing up, looking at footage, I said, I could understand the boys that I knew, all the yippies and all that running to Canada didn't want to fight in the war. That would be me. Suppose I get shot? That mentality. But then again, look what I've done on a social level. Mm-hmm. I was willing to take a bullet, but I trusted my environment. I trusted the people I was talking to about. Mm-hmm. I just believed. That's the thing. I did, and then I had the backup band. I had Naomi, and then I had Iman, who were willing to take all the press with me because they too believed. So it helps a little bit to have that kind because you need the press to spread the word of what we were doing. But in all the end of the day, I was the front of the band. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the difference too.
Being okay, being gangster, and leading.
Without even knowing you're doing it.
Isn't that the truth? Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
And I'm going to keep bugging you with questions when I sit next to you tomorrow.
That's right. I know. And that's the wisdom of really being smart and wise.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I was like, why are you so obsessed with me? 3, 2, 1.
The obsession starts now. NYX Professional Makeup, the brand on everyone's lips. For every baddie, everywhere. We don't just go viral, we go vital. Our products touch the heart. Driven by community, rooted in artistry. Gen Z knows now wetter actually is better. We dominate as the brand of entertainment. Now, turn us up on your favorite playlist. Diversity is in our DNA. Pigments that pop, performance that doesn't stop. Always affordable, always pro, always on trend. If you NYX,
You know, that's hot.
Please welcome to the stage Danae Pearson, Global Brand President, NYX Cosmetics.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Good. I saw Yara. I'm like, oh, she's beautiful. Like that's the one to go after. So wow, Forbes Power Women Summit. Hey, Power Women. Can I keep it real with you? I have to say, I'm just a Jersey girl who went from intern to global brand president, so this for me is quite major. So thank you so much, Forbes. Thank you, Sherry, for having me here. And thank you to my team who got me all the way together. And when I say all the way together, I mean through a power outage, traffic, shoes left in the car, new shoes. And here I am. Power. Now that's power, that's power. So when I think about power, and when I think about what makes me feel powerful, I think about purpose,